Hi, this is Graphically Alex coming at you with all things fat related. If that's something that interests you, please subscribe. I'd love to have you. Today, we're going to cover this video that I saw on Not David's channel. I had to react because it was super interesting to me. And I just want to do a little bit of a disclaimer. I do have a migraine currently. I was having like a pre-migraine moment earlier today, so bad that I thought I was like having a mid-sized princess relapse, but I'm not. I was just irritable due to the migraine coming. So if I can't speak as clearly or if there's some weirdness, that's what it is. I have a migraine, but I'm here. We're showing up. We're going for it. Let's go.
I really didn't want to have to, but I feel the need to address the skinny epidemic that we're in. I need to tell you that
So I just have to say, and I'm going to cut her off probably a lot, the fact that they're using the term skinny epidemic is super interesting because it totally undermines so much of their work and so much of their rhetoric. I personally love to see it as an anti-fat acceptance advocate or an anti-fat acceptance activist. I like seeing them totally undermine their own rhetoric. I don't even know if they're aware of that, but to sit here and try to tell everybody that my body is not an epidemic forever, to then just turn around and say the skinny epidemic, it just really takes all the wind out of the sails. They have completely like given up ground and just ceded a lot, and in a way that I didn't think it would go so easily. Like I didn't think it would happen so fast, I guess you could say. I thought it would take longer, but no. I mean, they're taking massive losses at the moment. So, yeah, I just had to point that out.
this video is not coming at anyone in particular. It's not coming at people who take the shots. It's not coming at people who are on a weight loss journey. Your body and what you do with it is none of my business.
So that's also interesting too, because fat acceptance typically did attack people for attempting to lose weight in the past, and they can no longer do that. It's no longer feasible. I think for the most part, it's ceded ground. They'll often say they will agree with bodily autonomy as a concept now, today, for now. If the tides turn, I'm sure they go right back to it, you know, but it is interesting to see. Again, it's not just her, it's a lot of them. They will see that now more than they did in the past, I will say.
But this skinny epidemic that we're in is hitting the plus size influencer community so hard. The reason that I feel the need to talk about this now is...
So that part's interesting to me because she's just saying, we want our space. We're not trying to change the world anymore. We're just trying to maintain our space. That is a super defensive stance that fat acceptance is now taking. So I just wanted to point those things out. I saw that immediately, and I wanted to let you guys know.
Because I have been getting so many emails from different manufacturers who manufacture GLP-1s. And the emails are always like, we want to be a part of your weight loss journey. Like, let us help you with your weight loss journey. And they want to send me GLP-1s and want me to post about them and post about my weight loss journey with them. First of all, who said...
Okay, so this is something strange about fat acceptance activists. They often take business interactions to be personal. Like they have a hard time differentiating. And I think some of this, you know, I've talked about it a lot, you know, throughout the history of my channel, but I've talked to you guys about the hypohaze. It's kind of like when you're very hypothyroid, it's almost like you're walking through life drunk or you're walking through a haze. Like it's hard to see things as they are, which is actually very risky when you are super morbidly obese, which I do, at least from this angle, she probably is. I'm going to say she probably is. I don't know how big she actually is, but she's at the very least like on the upper end of morbid or super morbid, in my opinion, just based on how she looks. So it's one of the most risky things about being that size because you're very easily taken advantage of because you can't differentiate certain things and you have a hard time picking up on like social cues. You have a hard time understanding when somebody is being slimy. or like, I don't know. I don't know exactly like how to describe it, but it puts you at risk for toxic relationships, narcissistic people will take advantage of you and stuff. Like, you're very unsafe when you're in the hypohaze. It's not good. You'll end up in a lot of victim savior complexes and these types of things. And in this case, they often cannot differentiate between personal relationships and business relationships. So this business is emailing her and she's taking it as some kind of personal commentary, which is bizarre. I would just see it as a pitch, which I can say no. I have the right to say no to any sales pitch. And so I would. I've told you guys many times, I would never take a GLP-1 unless if I was diabetic, and it would be a diabetic dose. And I've told you guys why many times, because it does have an effect on mental health for some people. And I can tell that I would be one of those people. I'll put it to you that way. So I am not a good candidate for that medication at all. I can just tell. I just know. I've heard people's reactions that they've had, which I might do videos covering some of them because I want you guys to know. But I had some of those issues just from losing weight naturally, so I can only assume it would be even worse with Ozempic or a GLP-1. So I am not a good candidate for the drug, and a lot of people need to understand that a lot of people are not a good candidate for the drug for mental or physical reasons or financial reasons. There's a lot of reasons why these drugs are not the cure-all of obesity, and, you know, we get into that side of the issue, which I don't like. I don't like it when people claim that either. So anyways, let's listen to her unable to differentiate, to her being unable to differentiate between personal and business relationships for a little bit.
Anything about a weight loss journey. I know this might come as a shock to a lot of you, but I'm not trying to lose weight. I don't want to lose weight.
The business doesn't care. The business isn't thinking that. The business is simply thinking, we've had a lot of, you yourself said, a lot of people have taken the drugs. A lot of people are losing weight. A lot of people are promoting. So they will just assume that you may as well too. So they're going to email you. And they may email you multiple times. But it's just a business thing. It has nothing to do with you as a person or your personal goals. They don't actually care. They care about the money that you can make them. That's what they care about.
Genuinely like my body. And that right there is where my issue lies.
So as far as liking your body, that has nothing to do with taking care of your body. Your personal feelings about your body and how you take care of it, they don't always align. I'm just going to say that. You cannot like your body and still take care of it. You can like your body and still neglect it.
With all of these plus size influencers who are getting on the shot and just losing a ton of weight. Before you had all of this money to buy the shots and to go through the weight loss journey and then to go through surgeries to remove excess skin, you
don't need to take the pills to lose weight. Or sorry, the pills. Told you guys I have a migraine. You don't need to take the drug to lose weight. You don't need money to lose weight. Look at that barrier. I've always told you guys that people will use these drugs as a weapon. So fat activists use them and other people use them. And I don't think that and people against fat acceptance use them as a weapon. I don't think it's good either way. Because if you act like it's the miracle cure, then, oh, well, that isn't available to that person, so they don't have to lose weight. To which I say, the hell you don't. And then people are like, whoa. And it's like, yeah. Because I'm actually about it. So no, that's not an excuse. Not having Ozempic is not an excuse to not lose weight. Period.
We're here on social media preaching body positivity and preaching that women should love and appreciate their bigger bodies and that they should embrace it. When in reality, the second that you got enough money, you went and changed it. So did you ever actually love your body in the first place? Or were you?
Honestly, they probably did. And that's probably why they're taking them. because they're probably concerned, which David did point that out. Like, when you're at this size, you are in a dangerous situation. And a lot of people don't want to accept that. A lot of people think, oh, I'm fine. You're not. You're not. I've always said it. I used to say it when I was big on this channel. I used to say, you can lie to other people, but you cannot lie to me. I remember what it's like to be super morbidly obese as a teenager, as a young adult, as somebody in my mid-20s, late 20s, 30s. I know what that's like. You don't feel good. I didn't feel good from the time I was 18. I used to be in pain standing at a concert at 18. The pain would be so bad that I would be sore for days after. But you just deal with it, and that's at a young age. But you accept it, and I think that's a part of fat acceptance that I don't agree with. I don't agree with accepting being in pain from standing at a concert when you're 18. I don't agree with accepting that, especially if it is preventable or fixable, like weight. Weight is preventable and fixable. Think about what we're accepting when we accept fatness. And you're going to notice, because I watched this on David's, she talks a lot about her appearance. Your appearance is the least of your problems. The least of your problems.
You just saying that. Because something we're not realizing is access to GLP-1s and the amount of money that it costs to be on a GLP-1 is not something that the average person can afford.
It's not an excuse not to lose weight. Next.
Again, let me reiterate, my issue is not the fact that you're taking a GLP-1, it's not the fact that you're losing weight, it's the fact that you have built this platform and monetized this platform off of body positivity and loving your body, and you have gained followers who truly...
And you cannot love your body if you're losing weight. It's interesting. Love is an action, not a feeling. And I think that people forget that. Love is being there for something or someone when it is inconvenient, when it's not fun. That's love. Happiness is fleeting. Love is true. Love is a sense of loyalty, even when things are bad. So if you love your body, wouldn't you take care of your body even if it's not easy or fun? Even if it's tough? Even if it doesn't look how you want it to look? Of course you would. Because you love your body. I think that people they say that like it's just a feeling. It's not just a feeling. It's not just, looking in the mirror and fluffing around your rolls and giggling about it or something. That is the most superficial version of love that could ever exist. It's not real. Would you accept love from a partner of them staring in front of the mirror with you and laughing about you? Would that be enough for a relationship? Would that be enough to feel loved by the person? No. You want somebody that's there for you when you're down and out. You want somebody that's there for you when it's hard, when you're not doing well. You want somebody that stands up for you when you can't stand up for yourself, and you want to be doing the same. And the same can be true for objects or your body or whatever, right? Like if you love your car, you'll take care of your car, even if you don't want to. And obviously when we get to people and stuff, like it's different than an object, but because it's reciprocal or somewhat reciprocal. But even like if you love the love of a child, for example, they might not be able to be 100% reciprocal, but there's still something in return. There's something, there's at least a reaction or something, and there is deep-seated love that is, if you take good care of your baby, they're probably going to love you forever, It's a very deep thing, but the point is, if you love your body, you will take care of your body. It is an action, even if you don't want to. Even if you don't want to. Even if taking care of your body doesn't make you feel good, you'll still do it. Or would you consider love when somebody would take care of you only if they felt good about it? That's not love. That can be romance. It can be fun. It can be giggles and laughs. Maybe you have fun with your body, but you don't love your body. So when somebody's taking Ozempic at a super morbidly obese size, that is an act of self-love. That is something that they're doing to try to fix their health or to try to improve their situation. And whether or not it's available to other people, it's available to them. And it typically is being taken from a stance of self-love. Perhaps self-love inspired the choice. Did you ever consider that? I'm not saying that there aren't nefarious reasons for taking Ozempic. There aren't ways of doing it that are not healthy or that are not in self-love, but you cannot blanket say that every single person that takes the drug is just doing it for appearance and will do it at the cost of their health and doesn't care or doesn't even consider it. You can't say that about everybody taking it. That's not true. The majority are probably doing it to improve their health. That's still true. Even when I talk about the disclaimers of the toxic ritualistic, and I talk about why I don't think people who have these issues, especially severely, should take those drugs, I talk about it. I think there's psychological reasons, there's physiological reasons. Like you may have worse mood issues with it because you've already fried your brain physically. And also you may not use it properly psychologically. The psychological issues you may use the drug improperly if it's too severe. And it should be considered and monitored by professionals. That's my opinion. I don't think it should just be a blanket like, woo, let's just go for it type of thing. But that being said, that doesn't mean that the majority of people that are taking it have these issues. That's not true. Most people who are taking it are like class 1 obese. Diabetes, or on the verge, insulin resistance, PCOS, the usual suspects, right? This is why a lot of people take it. Because they're big enough where it's a health concern, but they don't want it to get out of control. Because most people don't want it to get out of control. Because they care about themselves, at least somewhat. Anyways, I'm going too deep. I go too deep these days. I told you guys, I warned you.
Really look up to you and look at you and see their body and know that you have the same body, and immediately when you get money, you go and change it. What kind of message does that send to your followers?
Stop trying to make this about class. It doesn't belong. There are people who are not rich who are taking it. There are people who are insured that can take it that are not super rich. So just stop. It's kind of cringy to hear you talk about it in this way. So I get the argument for taking it for vanity or just choosing to take it or whatever. Sure. But if you have legit issues, a lot of insurances do somewhat cover it, but you do have to pay for it still. But I'm just saying, it's not like everybody taking the drug is a millionaire. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So I don't really want to hear you try to make this a class issue. Yes, people who are very poor will not be able to take it. That's true. But let's not act like middle class people are millionaires. And let's not act like there aren't millions of middle class people. Okay?
Imagine you're a follower who has the exact same body type as you, and they've been following you forever, and you love your body, so they have started to love their body, and then immediately
Nobody owes anybody anything content creation wise. You just don't. It's good if it's good, and it's bad if it's bad. I mean, you can leave at any moment, and a person can change direction at any moment. That's called autonomy, which I guess fat acceptance activists still struggle with.
you go and change it once you have enough money to get on a GLP-1. So they're sitting there like, did she ever actually love our body? Did she ever actually
Our
think
body?
it was okay to look like we do?
The collective body. Notice that language. I told you guys there is a hive mind within the toxic ritualistic, and part of recovery is seeing yourself as an individual once again and not comparing to everybody else and, doing this type of stuff. You have to stop. This is not healthy. You're not a hive of the fatties. That sounds like a bad sci-fi movie. That's not what this is. You're a fat person. They were a fat person. You two were always separate people on separate paths. That's it.
Or was she just saying that until she could change it? That's my problem. If you are genuinely not okay and not happy being in a plus size body, do not make a platform and monetize that. And look, not everybody wants.
I wouldn't make a statement like this. I don't think it's a good look, because what if you do change your mind? Then everybody's going to use this against you. It's just, this is kind of a nothing statement. You're not really advocating for anything. This is kind of something that probably should have stayed in the journal, which I feel like a lot of people, they can't. Again, it's very hypohase. People cannot tell within fat acceptance. They're not healthy. I told you, it's like you walk through life drunk. She can't tell what should just be in her journal and what she should actually say. This is not a good thing to publicly state as an activist. It's not. Because it can bite you in the ass later. And it's better to not judge everything all the time. Just take it from me, I guess. That's my advice. Because you could look really stupid in the future if you change your mind on this, which you may have to. Why? Because your health might take a shit. And it will. I'll just say it. It will. It's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. So this is going to be something you probably regret.
To be plus size. Not everybody likes being plus size. Not everybody likes being fat.
It's not about liking it. Your feelings about it are not relevant or important. It's the fact that it's bad for you. It's bad for your body. It's bad for your quality of life. It's bad for your mood. It's bad for your digestion. There's pretty much nothing it isn't bad for. It's bad socially. It's bad psychologically. It makes it harder to deal with issues because you can't think clearly. It's bad all around. Makes you too tired to do anything. You're not as good of a pet owner. You're not as good of a parent. You're not as good of a friend. It's just bad. And you're not good to yourself. I remember it. I watched this vlog that I have from 2019. It's privated. And I saw myself and I was so in it. I might have to react to something like that for members. But I was so in it. So in the disorder. And I could see how anxious I was. And it's like my mind was just bouncing back and forth. I could see how deeply hypo I was too. And I literally sounded like I was drunk. So I might do that for members. And it was horrifying, to be honest. It was.
likes being curvy, whatever you want to call it. Again, your body is none of my business. But what is my business is when you make an entire platform claiming that you do love your body and that you are
It's not your business. Your business is your own platform.
size and that you're confident and that you're happy in that, and you just lie. Because if you were actually confident,
people lie all the time. I mean, I don't even know. Does she have this kind of Pollyanna thing going on? You see what I'm telling you? It's dangerous. It's dangerous to be in this state. And again, I will bring up the deep nuances of it that a lot of people don't bring up. Because, in my opinion, you're too old to be shocked that people lie. I'm just going to be real. You are too old for that. I don't even know exactly how old you are, but you're too old to not know that people lie.
in your body, if you actually loved being plus size, you wouldn't feel the need to change it as soon as you got enough money. I know that I've done a lot of rambling in this video, but basically it just feels like we've been lied to. It makes your followers look back on all your videos.
You have been lied to. Fat acceptance in general is a lie. So once you get out of it, you can choose to help tell the truth or not. But you've definitely been lied to.
Videos in question, did she ever actually mean it, or was she just saying that because she didn't have enough money to get on?
How is it relevant to your life at all or anything? Do you know her personally? It's not a personal betrayal. Again, having an issue with separating personal things from non-personal things. Like, I understand, like for example, no shade at all. If you're watching, if Angelica suddenly switched course and she was like, I'm going to be a fat activist again, I would be pissed. I would. I would probably try to DM her about it and I'd be like, are you sure? Or what is going on? What the hell? So I would not do something publicly at first. But if she continued, then I'd have to cover it. And I would say I'm very disappointed, and I'd have to say that she's dead to me. No, I'm just kidding. No, I wouldn't make it personal, because the thing is, it would anger me rhetorically and stuff, but I wouldn't be personally angry at Angelica as a human being, because I can still separate, but I'd be disappointed, to say the least. As an anti-FA activist, I'd be very disappointed. I'd be extremely rhetorically disappointed, because she's doing great. Because you're doing great, Angelica. So great. So I'd be very disappointed, but I could still separate her as a person. I would not have personal beef with Angelica. Because no, she would not be dead to me at all. Okay? So that's a healthy response. You can see the difference between a person's rhetoric and a person as a human being. And I think a lot of times within the toxic ritualistic, remember, the DIS order is such a part of our identity that oftentimes we'll use that same logic and we'll make it about like our politics or our religion or our this or our that. Our ideology, our ideas are also who we are, even though they're not. They're not. There's something separate from that. It's kind of like saying that your feelings are who you are. They're not. If you feel happy or sad, you're still you. It's the same thing with your beliefs. If your beliefs change, you're still yourself, and it's the same thing, you guessed it, with your weight. But it's hard. The toxic ritualistic mindset, it's very hard to separate those things. And I think that's why it happens so often. And it can happen in other political movements and stuff, but again, politics are just divisive, and it's just, is vicious. Politics are just vicious, period. So it's like if you switch sides politically, it's like a huge thing. And there's a lot of reactions and all that stuff because people get very passionate about it. But I would hope at the end of the day, people can still see a human being behind the person. And if you don't like the person, okay, you know? I will always say there are left wingers I like and dislike. There are right wingers I like and dislike as people, you know? And I think we need to get back to that sometimes. Like sometimes it is just personal. You just personally don't like somebody. It's kind of like the Swifties where they're like freaking out about her album and they try to make it this huge political statement or something. And it's like, you just don't like the album or you just don't like her, which is fine. They're like, she's a mean girl. I'm like, she always was. That's why I love her. You know? She always was. Like, I'm like, what? Who have you been listening to? I've been listening to Mad Woman. I've been listening to, vigilante shit. I've been listening to This Is Why We Can't Have Nice Things, which I don't like that song at all. I actually can't stand it. But I'm just saying, like, you don't like the person. You like the idea of what they believe or something, which is weird. But this can be so bizarrely placed. And I think that happens in politics too, because people are not sure of what they believe. But when it comes to this issue, it's pathological. And those somewhat normal questions, like let's say you're a 21-year-old and you find out that somebody disagrees with you politically that you follow and you like, well, you have to reconcile with that. And you have to figure that out because does that mean that I believe something different? That's normal. That's a normal process because your beliefs are threatened because you wonder if I like this person or I like their work or whatever, does that mean that I believe the same as them or not? That's a normal kind of high level abstract exercise to be figuring out at 21. I wouldn't judge somebody for that because you're not necessarily sure about what you believe at that age, and that's completely fine. That is so fine. When you get older, you get more secure in your beliefs, and it doesn't matter to you. But again, that's a natural thing. When we're talking about weight loss, when we're talking about somebody lost weight, that's not natural. That's bizarre. Where's the high level reasoning? Where's the difficult question? Where is all that? That doesn't exist. It's just about your problem. It doesn't exist. There is no high level reasoning. There is nothing behind it. There is no abstraction. It doesn't exist. Because it wouldn't matter to you if somebody said, I still believe in fat acceptance, but I'm going to lose weight. It would still bother you because it's not about the belief, it's about the action, which is why my activism is not just about what I say, it's what I do. It's the act of visibly, physically, publicly losing weight. That's the activism. Yes, the rhetoric does go with it and all that stuff, absolutely. But the part that gets under people's skin is that I've done it and that I continue to do it. And there are people that probably hold their breath and hope that I'll regain, and I won't. I won't. And it's going to sting and sting and sting. But that's the activism when it comes to this issue. Specifically when it comes to E followed by the letter D, recovery activism. The recovery is an action. It's a state of being that is very visceral to people with this issue. And that's why I've done it the way I did it. Because I knew I could. And I knew how effective it would be. But as far as rhetorically, policy-wise, I mean, there's so much work. within anti-FA. Like, they are trying to take over the medical industry. They're trying to take over, good luck with EFAW by letter D recovery centers right now. They're taking over that. Or shout out to Compulsive Rambler. She's pointed out that some of the organs are still affected. So there's a lot to talk about. So there's a lot of different perspectives that a lot of different people can bring to this issue. So, whatever you want to tackle, I'm tackling this aspect of physically losing publicly to really get under the skin of the problem. And I have a deep knowledge of this problem because I lived it, I've observed it, I was raised in it, all of it. And at this rate, I've studied it with how much I've reacted to this stuff too. I've seen it so many times in so many different videos. And so it's like, oh, I know this one. I know it big. I know it well. But that's what I'm saying. We all have something to bring to the table. And we'll all have our styles. And we'll all have what we can do. Just like I admire, I'll just mention Angelica again. I admire Angelica's perspective of having been a fat acceptance activist that shifted. I'm never going to have that perspective. So that's amazing to have. So I would be really pissed if she reversed course. I'm going to say it again. I'm just kidding. There's no danger. I don't think that there better not be. I don't think there's any danger of that. It's just an example. But it's like, of course, it's like, I get it. If you value somebody in your movement and they leave, it sucks. But it should be more of a logical thing, not an emotional thing. Because a person is a person. And we forget that. And we especially forget that in the toxic ritualistic. We do. It's a dehumanizing thing.
GLP-1. Heck, it's even gotten to me. I keep asking myself, like, once I hit a certain amount of followers or start making a certain amount of money from TikTok, do I need to start getting on a GLP-1? I don't want to be on a GLP-1.
She can't differentiate from other people. She's so in this. It's very obvious to me she has this problem.
I've tried a GLP-1, but I didn't like it. And when I tried the GLP-1...
There are other ways to do it. You don't need to take it. If it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. It's still not an excuse to not lose.
I was going through so many side effects and I was just not feeling good. I was like, I would rather be fat and happy than be...
It's a false choice.
Be skinny and miserable.
False choice. Sorry, I cut her off, but I heard that one when I watched it on David's channel. False choice, girl. Toxic ritualistic, black and white thinking. Not a choice. And by the way, there is no fat and happy. You know it's a lie, and so do I.
I don't think it's fair to those of us who are actually trying to send the body positive message because we actually believe in it. It just feels like there's
you can be body positive and lose weight at the same time. Radical thought, but you can.
Bunch of phonies out there. Anyways, that is some of my piece on the skinny epidemic. Now for my followers on here, let me assure you, I actually love my body. I'm actually okay with being
and people that take it probably love their body too.
Do I have bad body image days? Yeah, but everyone does. I love my husband, but there are days that I don't like him. There are moments that I don't like him. I wouldn't put myself on the internet and constantly face the mean comments that I get every day if it wasn't something that I actually believed in and that I'm actually fighting for. I am so incredibly grateful.
No, I believe that she has the problem. And I hope that if she hopefully gets out of it, we're going to hope. And for those of us that pray, we're going to pray that she will get out of it. She will get out of the toxic ritualistic. I hope that she'll give herself the grace to understand that this is where she was at and she was not well. She was not mentally well. And I won't judge her if she changes. I'll be very happy if she does change. Remember, at the end of the day, it's very sad. It's a very sad issue.
For this platform, and the last thing that I would ever want to do is make you feel like you've been lied to. My goal on this app is obviously...
I wouldn't think you lied. I think you really believe in it. I think you really believe the toxic ritualistic. But I hope you see the truth one day. I really do. For the sake of you, for the sake of your life, and everyone around you that cares about you. I hope that you see the problem. I hope that you realize it.
To spread joy
and fix it.
And positivity, and to maybe help some of you gain some confidence. But also to remind you guys of something that my mom always told me growing up. I remember when I was in high school and I wanted to try out for the dance team, and I told her that I was scared and I didn't want to because everybody on the team was skinny. She told me this: you can do everything that every single one of those girls can do. You just do it in a bigger t-shirt size. You deserve to be in that room, to be on that team just as much as anybody else does. Your weight, your body, your belly is the least interesting thing about you. You have so much.
Well, it doesn't work, because if your whole brand is based around that, then it doesn't work. It falls flat as a message. I'm just telling you, it doesn't work. But what I will say is, certainly when we get to vanity weight levels, yeah, it doesn't matter, other than how you look. But you're not there. You're in a health issue zone. So this is not even a conversation for you to be having, because you probably can't do what the other girls could. And that's a harsh reality that needs to be understood. That can be really, really hard. People get very delusional in this issue.
Much more to offer than your body. I love you so much.
Your body deserves to be taken care of. Your body needs to be taken care of. Just because we are on a spiritual level more than our body, I can agree with that, doesn't mean that our body doesn't matter, or that we can treat our body like trash. That's just wrong. Sorry.
And I genuinely love me. I hope that translates.
Okay, well, I hope that you get out of the issue, and I hope that you can eventually sustainably, healthfully lose weight to be healthier and live longer and have a better quality of life and be happier ultimately. Anyways, you guys, I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one. Bye.